Okay, well, we're here with Sarah Dimson. Thanks a lot for coming, Sarah.
Sure, I'm happy to be here.
You know, I don't think a lot of people are going to recognize you.
I know, I've changed quite a bit.
I think everybody remembers the flowing locks and running up and down the court.
I know, I had to get rid of those. They were weighing me down.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, a little heavy.
Are you playing any basketball now?
You know, I have to say, I have not picked up a basketball in years, so it's been quite some time. I do a lot of triathlons and running, but you know, the basketball, I mean, you need people who are good, and sometimes when you're playing pickup basketball, people just aren't so good, like they were, you know, when you were playing with, you know, your Stanford teammates. So it's a little tough to get 5 people or 10 people who are pretty good.
Yeah, I bet it is.
Yeah.
So what's been taking up your time?
Oh my goodness. I live in Los Angeles now, and I work for an affordable housing real estate development company, and that takes the bulk of my time. It's a lot of work. I'm a project manager there, so we work on providing housing for families who are 30 to 60% below the average median income. So that takes up a lot of my time, but it's fun. I mean, there's the political aspect, and you know, there's a lot of heavy thinking behind how to put the financing together. So it's a lot of work, but I love it. I'm really passionate about it.
And how did you find your way to this particular job with affordable housing?
You know, it took a little bit of soul searching. I will say, right after graduation, I didn't know what I wanted to do. So I started reaching out a little bit, and I ended up joining a group called Coro. It's a civic leadership group. And through them, I stumbled upon affordable housing, and I thought, wow, that sounds like a dynamic environment. And the next thing you know, I'm kind of living what, you know, my dream was at the time. So.
Well, I know one of the things that Stanford women's basketball has always been known for is kind of their help with the Onetta Harris Center.
Yeah.
Was that something that maybe that you were exposed to here that made you kind of think about more of a community service type job?
Yeah, I think that, you know, one of the things that's great is that Tara always was, you know, pretty insistent that we give back. And I think that the combination of my upbringing through my family and then sort of having that continue on, you know, being sort of my family here at Stanford, whether it was through Tara or either any of my other teammates, yeah, it was really important for me to connect with the community and feel like, you know, we were given so much that we should at least do something in our professional and personal lives to give back.
Well, speaking of Stanford,
yeah,
as you look back on your years here, how would you describe it?
Wow, you know, I still describe my years at Stanford as like the best years of my life. I mean, I made some pretty incredible friendships and just had some life-changing experiences during my time here. And, you know, Tara always teases me, you know, I'm from Oklahoma. She's like, I saved you, girl. She's like, I saved you I was like, you did, Tara. You took me out of Oklahoma. Thank you for getting me out of Oklahoma. There's nothing wrong with Oklahoma, but, you know, it was night and day, both academically and culturally, and obviously the level of basketball here, and just being surrounded by this environment, it just completely changed my life. So it was a good thing. It was a really good thing.
Well, you know, it's kind of interesting through some of these interviews, we're getting to see a little bit different view of Tara.
Yeah.
So how would you compare how you viewed her when you were, you know, under her coaching, and then now as a very successful woman out in the business world?
Yeah, you know, it's interesting that you say that, because I think the views definitely change. I think that as a player, you know, I really remember Tara being, you know, really demanding of each player in terms of what they were able to give, not only just on the basketball court, but in terms of personally. So for instance, you know, always coming in and being the same person no matter what the circumstances were, and just really setting a high bar for people. And you know, I have to say, sometimes it was hard to meet Tara's bar. You know, she sets the bar really high, and so that's hard. It's challenging, you know, when you have somebody kind of as fierce and demanding as Tara. And now I'm looking back on it, I completely appreciate it, because I feel like she is this really incredible woman from a business perspective, from a coaching perspective, on a personal level, and I have the utmost respect for her. I really do.
And how about your playing with your teammates? Anybody you're still in touch with?
Oh my God, yeah, definitely. Carolyn Moose also lives in Los Angeles, so I talk to Carolyn frequently. We do yoga at least once a month together. So yeah, I'm not playing basketball, but I'm doing yoga, and very Los Angeles thing to do, very Southern California. So I keep in touch with her, very much in touch with Heather Owen and Kate Pay, although, I didn't actually play with her, and a number of different people. So, like I said, those friendships are forever.
And you mentioned life-changing experience when you're a player. Can you give us an example?
Oh, life-changing experiences during playing. Wow, that's a tough one. Only because there are probably so many, but oh, geez. Yeah, I do remember. Remember the very first time I kind of ever had to miss practice, and it was of my own fault. But I think that for me, what Tara explained to me and why that maybe situation wasn't so acceptable, it's the small things. I don't know that it's one or two things that I could definitely pick out, but I remember in this instance in missing practice, she just said a couple things to me that sort of changed my perspective, and I can't necessarily pinpoint that down, but I just remember that particular circumstance and coming in the next day and really understanding why or why not that wasn't quite okay. So I don't know if it was life-changing per se, but I remember that being an experience where Tara and I had a frank talk about sort of more life lessons as opposed to sort of the nuts and bolts about basketball.
And that's probably, what you're talking about, which is she tells you a lot about basketball, but there's other things that are going on in terms of what her teaching.
Absolutely. I think when she's teaching about basketball, she's also kind of, delivering a message. And I think that, it's probably something that she does naturally now. I don't know that she really even thinks about that in terms of, okay, I've got to teach this life lesson. It's kind of in her. It's inherent now. So, anyway.
Well, just one more thing on Tara, which is, can you give us a Tara-ism?
Tara-ism. Sprint! I have to say, I have never forgotten. There will be times, I still remember that. I can hear Tara in my head, telling her players to sprint, and always telling me to sprint. And I don't know why, but that one thing just sticks out in my head. I can hear Tara's voice. So, she has a lot of one-liners during practice, and that's the one I remember, is just kind of her one-liners is telling me to sprint. So I don't know if that's a Tara-ism or not, but it's something I remember. It counts, kind of.
Well, what's interesting as a fan, we get to see personalities a lot, and certainly yours was very bubbly and effervescent. And when you came in, could you feel that the crowd was cheering you? Could you tell?
Today?
Oh, no, I mean, when you came out on the floor, when you were a player.
Yeah, I think.
Did you tell that you were popular?
Yeah. I didn't know it was popular. That's kind of cool. No, I'll take that. No, I had no idea it was really popular in that sense. I think that one thing that is definitely true of me is, I think I have a lot of energy, and hopefully I was able to, bring that and share that with my teammates on a daily basis. So.
Well, Candace kind of reminds me a little bit about your style as well. You kind of bring the crowd along.
Yeah, Candace has got great energy, doesn't she?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she's got good energy. I like her a lot. I coached her. I was her camp counselor. I was her camp coach back in the day. So.
Did you like teaching it?
I don't know if I was actually teaching Candace anything. But she was on my team. So, I'll just leave it at that.
Did you guys win everything?
We won all of our games. So, anyway.
What's camp about? I think a lot of fans don't really know about camp. Can you tell us a little?
Camp is great. Camp is summer camp. I think Tara has both a day camp and an overnight camp, and I taught an overnight camp, and it's fantastic. First of all, it's a very well-run camp. Tara's got it down after doing it so many years, but I think from a coach's perspective, everybody really gets into it. We're there to really, it's our opportunity to kind of pass the buck in a way. Everything that Tara has sort of taught us on a daily basis, to kind of share that with other people, other players, and a lot of parents sit in and listen.